So UPTEC started 15 years ago when the University of Porto realized that its third mission, which is connecting with the market and with society, was a little bit being overlooked. Let's call it like that. So the University of Porto created UPTEC to support its entrepreneurs, its researchers, to reach the market and have a structure that would do incubation of the projects and support their growth. So this was 15 years ago, and since then we started incubation program, some acceleration programs to support researchers going from lab to market, and we work to support their growth, and it's not exclusively connected with the university. So we also support projects from people who come outside the university. And currently we are incubated around 210 companies from fields of creative industries, science, and technologies at large.
So you have an ecosystem here. Is it connected to the venture capital? Well, how are your companies getting funded, or some of the startups getting funded afterwards?
So we support them with mentorship. We don't do, so this is an important part. In Portugal, we don't do the normal incubation programs where we take equity and invest in the companies. So it's a service-based contract that we have with these companies, and then we support them with networking and with connection with VCs, depending on the stage that they are and if they're ready to get funded. So it depends on the company, and it depends on their needs as well.
Has there been any high growth companies that have come out of here?
I think that the most known one at this point is SmartX, which is, I don't know if you heard about it, but it's a company that develops an AI model for the textile industry, where they detect defects during production, so they can stop production, immediately cut the defect or correct it, and save up to 80% of textile waste during the process. So that's the most known one. They did a Series B funding, 24 million euros just last November. So that's one of the biggest companies that we have. We also have Barkin, which is a company that develops a service-based. It's service for pets. You have a dog, so you enter your dog specificities. It's how do you say? Well, you just enter your dog specificity, its size, and that kind of stuff, and then they provide you with services from veterinary support, and they deliver to you their food, the one that's most adequate for their best health. Right. And that's also one that did a Series B not long ago. And then we have companies who are doing architecture. We have design companies, product design, UX, UI, VR, AR, blockchain.
So in many ways, you're kind of unleashing research. So you're allowing research to actually go to market a little bit easier than the traditional way of it kind of being in a lab and kind of finding the research only onto a report. So
it's important to keep in mind that the University of Porto has around 36,000 students, which is a lot. And we are one of the leading institutions in Europe in patent issuing and IP. So there's a lot of research, a lot of papers that are being written within the university, and that was all not being properly used. So UPTEC came to be to look into that. So our motto in onboarding new companies is what we call it needs to be intensive in knowledge. This is a broad concept, but for you to have an idea, if you were developing mobile apps 15 years ago, 10 years ago, that would be really cool. If you are doing it now, we are not interested. If you are an architect who is just doing housing, cool, we wish you good luck, but it's not exactly for us. The architects that we work with are focused on public spaces with sustainable architecture, doing recovery of old buildings with sustainable practices, exploring that gray area between architecture and installation. So is
it more interdisciplinary, or is it more
It depends. We need to look at it and find it valuable and consider it intensive in knowledge and distinguished from, and something that distinguishes from the other companies. So our onboarding process, we have 3 business developers, each with its artificial, let's call it like that, separation and specific expertise. I'm focused on arts and creative industries, although I also work with EdTech and blockchain. Then we have somebody just focused on technology, which is a really broad concept, obviously, and somebody just working with science.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the creative sectors, because that's an interest to me. Because most economies now, the creative sector is a critical part of growth. A lot of times, it's one of the key drivers that attract talent too. Into the ecosystem. What are some of the type of projects or work that you're doing in the creative sector?
So besides the incubation of these projects and these companies that go from architecture to graphic design, interactive design, UI UX, and media in general. So we have a news channel, a TV channel that's just focused on arts, that's incubated within our space. We are also the leading partners for the new EIT KIC. The KICs are, the EIT is the European Institute of Technology, and the KICs are knowledge and innovation communities. There are big consortia that every 4 years the EIT launches.
So are you part of so do you get any funding from the EU in terms of some of the grants that focus in on the innovation hubs that they're trying to create, like in these innovation ecosystems that they're trying to create throughout Europe?
We don't get funded to do it, but we apply for programs where we feel that it fits what we're doing, our community is doing. That's what we did for this KIC for culture and creativity that the IT launched, and we are leading partners in Portugal in partnership with the University of Porto. And well, that depends. In that specific one, we need to create workshops for the creative sector. We need to create programs that matches what they're looking for, which is mostly focused on architecture, heritage, and design. So, and we need to, obviously, all that we do is to create new opportunities for the companies that we have within our community. That's always our motto. Besides that, what I'm trying to do here, this is a building that's more focused. We have 4 other buildings. This is really important. So this building is specifically our more creative-oriented community. So here, we try to do it a little bit different. So we created this new initiative, which is called the XPO, where we have workshops for creatives, where we explore like that middle ground between creativity and technology. So we have workshops on NFTs. We're going to have workshops on intellectual property and NFT specifically. Then we're going to do creativity and AI. So we try to explore a little bit, and then we defy our entrepreneurs to create exhibits that we have monthly near the auditorium. So currently the exhibit that we are hosting is one on architecture visualization by one of our architects. He works with a lot of Pritzker Award winning architects, namely with David Chipperfield, where he creates its renders. His renders actually. So he's exhibiting one of his latest works, and then we're trying to create this kind of more of the event-oriented MO where people can get together and start creating consortia and work amongst themselves. Because again, how we do our screening for our onboarding, we only work with people who are already good. So there's not much that we need to do besides providing them with opportunities that might.
It's kind of allowing for some serendipity to occur too.
We are enablers. That's mostly our work.
Yeah.
We need to enable them to be as good as possible. Also, there's some mentoring that goes along with it for the creative sector. That's really important because there are really good creatives, but when it comes to management and to understand finance and that kind of thing, it's where it derails a little bit. So that's where we need to come on and actually be a little bit more helpful for them.
So how much time does a startup have in terms of the incubation period, in terms of being an accelerator? Is there
within UPTEC we have the incubation program, which is 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. For creative industries, we are doing it for 5 years because it's a different pace.
Yeah.
You know, if you're an architect for 3 years, maybe you're still doing the first project, and you will get paid after those 3 years. So we can't just do a program that has the same kind of mindset that a startup one has.
Sure.
You know. So, but for creative industries, it's for 5 years. But yeah, that's the incubation program. Then we have different contracts. We have contracts for what we call development centers. So if you're a scale up or a corporate that wants to open a branch office in Porto, that we feel that might add value to our community, we are willing to work with you as well, not only specifically for startups, because in the end we are enablers. So it's important that we have talent that comes with a bigger structure, so that smaller startups and the founders learn with this community.
Well, I think that was the reason why I wanted to actually visit you, because I'm really interested in seeing how universities and different types of educational enterprises is cultivating talent for this emerging ecosystem that sits within cities, because so often, especially here in Portugal, like in Lisbon, you know, there's a lot of talk about tech and growth, but the underlying issue around talent seems to be less addressed as a kind of a intentional aspect of that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so coming here to UPTEC, it's really kind of given me an opportunity to see how this network is creating a community of innovators who have talent in different ways that they could deploy it.
Yeah, and I usually say this is kind of an anecdote, but I think it translates well to reality, which is people usually think that Lisbon is a good hub to be in, to be a good ecosystem to be a part of, which is not exactly, well, it's not a lie, you know. It's true that it's a good ecosystem to be a part of, but mostly if you are an agency or if you are working on a service base, if you need talent to develop things, you need to think of other cities in Portugal, mostly Porto, Aveiro and Braga, which is where you have most tech talent, you know. So and in Porto you can also have the creativity part because of all that Porto has been doing in terms of culture and its structure for culture and creativity, which is a little bit of a standout, and it's on par to Lisbon, but because Porto has a little bit about Portugal is Portugal is really centralized, so all the money that you have goes to Lisbon, you know. So in Porto people just need to do it by themselves, so the DIY kind of mindset is something that's imbued to our community up north. And people in Porto, artists and creatives working with culture and creativity, are really resilient and find ways to thrive. You know, it's different from Lisbon in that sense. So if you're looking for talent, you need to go north of doing it. The School of Startups is kind of our pipeline for incubating projects later on. You know, you apply with an idea, or you apply because you want to be part of a company from a really early stage, and then we do 3 modules, really intensive ones with mentorship from our own community mostly. So we have all this knowledge already within the community. So we just invite people, founders, to be mentors and to support this early stage projects, not exactly companies. And we do first we do ideation with them, then we do business model validation, then we move forward to IP. Protecting what they're doing, and then later on we do and the financing part, and later on we do all the communication part, how to sell it to whom are you selling it to, and pitching, you know. So, and this is something that can last for 4 months.
Oh wow.
So it's in the end people apply with projects that are completely different after the program, because they understood that okay, this isn't actually answering any needs or isn't providing any solution, you know. So there's no market for it, so we need to pivot it a little bit, which is an interesting model. And then we apply it to different contexts, you know, because I mean this skeleton is applicable in many different situations. So not long ago we started doing this in the fine arts faculty. in partnership with one of our product design companies, which is called Everything. So Everything has this project that by 2028 they want to make the people in Porto the happiest in the world. So they devised 7 challenges that goes from diversity and inclusion, silence and noise in the city, mobility, outdoor sports, challenges that you have when you want to be happy in the city.
Sure.
And then in partnership with the communications design degree, we proposed these 7 challenges to the students, and they need to create solutions for that. So we do the same process of the School of Startups with them every week, and they need to develop a project throughout the semester.
So it sounds like you're centering your work really around kind of these problem challenges, these design challenges in many ways.
I think it makes sense, because usually, at least my school, in terms of understanding what proper entrepreneurship is, it's not you getting rich, is you adding value to a community, So it needs to answer to some problem, it needs to provide a solution for something that needs a solution,
Wow. So what's the relationship with the university, since you guys get to kind of be independent?
Yeah, we are 100% independent.
So what's the relationship like in terms of how you get to make decisions and your revenue model versus the university? Do they kind of put their hand in the...
No.
Okay.
No. So UPTEC was created as an independent institution from the university.
Yeah.
We have our own fiscal number, so we are owned 100% by university, but we have our own revenue model and it's completely independent. So what funds us is our incubation program, because it's again contract based, so companies pay us to be here. And all the programs that we sell afterwards, because the School of Startups is actually a model that we sell for other institutions to apply. We are currently negotiating with the University of Arts London. We are employing the School of Startups for the National Agency of Innovation in Portugal for an acceleration program that they have. So this is also a revenue model for us, because again, we have all this knowledge here, it's just a matter of leveraging it. And on the other hand, because we are connected with the university, a lot of companies want to come to UPTEC to have access to early talent that's coming from the university. Again, it's one of the best engineering faculties in Portugal and one of the best renowned in Europe. So a lot of people are looking into what we have here at UPTEC in terms of connection with the university to provide with talent. But again, we are independent, which it's good in terms of we are less than 20 people. I think we are 18 to 19 people in our team managing the 4 buildings and the 3 hubs that we have and all the incubation, that kind of stuff. We are really way more swifter in making decisions than the university because, well, we are independent and we can make our own shots and we can decide when we whatever we do, if we want to go to a grant and partner with other universities to create a new project, is something that we are able to do because our mission is really specific. When it comes to curriculum, that kind of stuff, it depends. If the university calls us to play, we'll go and play, but it happens on a seldom basis, not always,
So your curriculum that you create here doesn't have to go through any type of
no, not at all
process. You get to have it here independently.
What we do for entrepreneurs and for researchers is something that the university hires from us. They pay us to do that. The School of Startups for researchers, we are paid by the university to do it. And this curriculum that we do with the design students is something that we created with that teacher specifically, because he works a lot with design interaction and he understood that there was a lack in knowledge in terms of how to create a project, and they don't even need to create a startup afterwards, because most of the projects that we do in those semesters, afterwards we invite 2 of them to be incubated in the UPTEC based on how achievable it is to create the project. It doesn't need to be a startup. It could be a cooperative, it could be an association, if it is feasible and if they are able to pay after 6 months. if they are able to pay our incubation program, we invite them to develop their project from within our facilities and to be supported by us.
So it seems like you have a lot of capacity, and the future looks good. So as your team is looking out into the future, what are you imagining for UPTEC in terms of its growth and impact?
So I think that right now, with the newfound attention that the European Union has for creativity and for culture, I think that we have an edge there, because we already have really good creatives here, and we have really we have really good tech companies here. So we can explore this middle ground between technology and creativity that has been overlooked over the last years. So I think that's definitely one of the things that we are more focused on coming on, and there's a lot of things that we want to do by using metaverse technology, blockchain, and even developing some AI models that are already being done by our companies here at UPTEC that might be really interesting. We want to deepen the connection with the industry here. Northern Portugal is really industrialized, but we are talking about industries that haven't still got the opportunity to come to the 21st century. It's really traditional still, textile, and all around the garnish. So there's a
which
lot
can all be applied through AI and a lot of
exactly. So that's
things,
that kind of connection that we are doing. We created a program called Bridging, where we invite companies to pitch their problems. So our startups provide them with solutions. And we have currently partnerships with the national network of test beds that the Portuguese program created, the Portuguese government created, which is they pay big industries to develop new solutions that to create pilots based on technology. So we are currently employing, I think, one project for carbon measurement within the textile industry, which is huge. AI solutions for the textile industry. And another one to create create a kind of I don't know how to say it in English actually, suede thing. I think it's suede, but laboratory creative.
Yes, that's great.
We are currently doing that. So I think there's a bigger connection to have with the industry to support its it's getting a little bit more up to date, which is something that Portugal still needs, and to deepen our connection with the university in terms of talent. It's something that I think we still need to address, in my opinion, and it's definitely a way that we are exploring.
So one last question, and so how can people get in contact with you? I mean, I think once they see this, there's going to be some folks that will be really excited about what's happening up here. So
through our website.
Okay.
It's the easiest. You have all the contacts there, all the forms to reach us. Again, we are a really small team, so we shouldn't take long to reply.
Okay, great.
It should be quick, I hope.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.